It is May 6, 2023, and it was about the the King Charles the Third in England, and I watched some of it on my TV here in Sweden, but I'm not so much interested of these kind of things. I'm only interested in about my family tree and the royals in Europe. But what they are doing today is not of interest for me. I don't know their names, the royals. Those two boys, two men that is the children of King Charles. I don't remember their names. And I think his wife, his name is Camilla, or something like that. I don't really know, because it's some kind of things going on that we can see what's have going on, and I am related to King Charles, and what I have come to know in my DNA is that at least half of my DNA is not good. It's evil things going on. So it's not the King Charles of England is no one that I should defend, because he is related to me. Because if a person is not nice, doing bad things, then I don't defend, hide it. I work to tell the truth to people. But what have with King Charles to do, I don't really care about it. But I watched this celebration when they become king and queen, and he is connected to me in my DNA, King Charles the Third, and I check it out today. I'm wondering where it's be like the same line, but where it's split up to come to be in England, and then royals in Sweden, because our king in Sweden is connected to King Charles, and the Danish queen is also in the same line. I think she is aunt to our king. It's so many lines there in the family tree, so it's hard to see everything, how they are connected. But I check it out today about where the Swedish royal and the English royals, where they split up, and it was Coburg in Germany, and it is our king's mother. It's where she married the Swedish king. So she come from Germany. So it is not far away, this split. Our king in Sweden, he is born 1946, and King Charles is about the same. So our king's mother, that is in my DNA. Of course, everyone is in my DNA, but the real line there is she was born 1908, so it's not far away, the split. And so mine is in Queen Victoria. There the split was, and they, so it's not far away, but it is very much branches to be to me, and because it's on the side of the line, it's married into the tree, and it's very much when it's come to the royals. But most of everyone, royals in Europe, they are related to me and my DNA. So in that way, is it interesting to see a little about the wedding and see if they look like me in the family around the royals, like that. But it was hard to see them. The camera was very far away from the royals, so it was not so much watching their faces, so I could compare a little if they look like me. And but that is what I did today, and I wanted to recording it because I recording when Queen Elizabeth died on her funeral day. So I was thinking that I need to do when King Charles be the king of England, and all the areas there belongs to England and UK. And it's sad that you get so old king in England, but it's good that the Queen Elizabeth was going on in old age, but it make the one that is coming after her be very old. Our the Swedish king, his father, he should be the king, but his father was killed in an airplane accident. So our king was only 16 years old when it was time for him to be king, but he had to wait because 16 years old was a little too young to be king. So his what is called with the man uncle, his uncle was king in Sweden until he died, and he died very fast from when he became king. So we had a young king here in Sweden because it jump over the father of our king. And that was very nice. It was sad about the accident, but it was very, very fun to have a young king. And he was not so good looking, but he was better than King Charles, at least. So it was interesting to have that kind of king. But now he's old, and but it seems like they are holding for many years. The royals, they have good DNA if they don't be killed of accidents. Um, so it was this kind of thing I was thinking I should recording, but it comes something else today. It was. I know I have talked about. There was this. It's very. It's a little disturbing because it's very much spirits that touch me now. But I try to could talk about what I should say. So I don't know if the spirits have with these things to do. But there was a young man in Utah, United States, that I saw him, and I saw that his last name, was Walker, and I wrote on his. I could write on his post, even if I was not his friend. I could do that, so I told him that it was a spirit that come in the night. I have told you about this before, but I tell you that have not heard it. I wake up in the night, and with along my feet, at my feet there was a man standing, and he held I just swallow the word I should say. A sign. He held a really big sign in his hand, and I didn't see because he was in the end of my feet when I lay down, and I read it like I am walking, and I say that it says I am walking. Then he disappeared, and after some seconds he come back again, and now he had more clearly writing on the sign, and then he come closer to my eyes, so I could read that his name was James Walker, and then he disappeared. And I was thinking, why did he come to me in the night and show me this sign? Because I belong to Scandinavian people, and this is English name. And I was thinking, I didn't know anyone that had the name James Walker or any of those names. So, and it was before I did my DNA. So I didn't know where I belong. I the bad things about my growing up, it was about like it was only my mother and her sisters that I met, and my grandparents had died, so they were not alive, so I could talk to them. I had my grandmother, but she was laying in the hospital, and she was disabled, paralyzed, so she couldn't speak so clearly. So, and it was a little backwards to be in the hospital with all these sick people and talk to her. So I had no one to ask, and I had only my mother. My father was out and drinking, so I couldn't ask him about the family around us. And I was not thinking about that because it was not showing me and it was not told me. So I felt it like it was normally. It was normal. You know this about that you have this thinking in your mind what you see and hear is normal because you have no reference. You have no one to ask, and you have only your parents and what they do and say. That is the rules for you. You have no one else to look at and ask. So that was my truth with my mother. I was my father had one brother and two sisters, but we were never there. We were only when my father lived us a few times, but my father died in 1970, so I was only 17 years old when he died. So I have not come into this when you ask about serious things. When you ask where do I come from, and where have all these the family members coming from? I only know my four aunts and those uncles, two uncles that I had on my mother's side. They were like disappeared. They didn't talk serious. They were very strange. They was not like their sisters. So I didn't have anyone to ask. And now when I do my DNA, it's feel really odd that it can't be like our family. It was only my parents and then my four aunts and nothing more. And when my aunts, we were with my aunts and their husbands. It was nice dinners and very much drinking alcoholic. It was no serious things going on. So I didn't know more than those people. And today, when I look in my DNA, I was told in Jerusalem 2016, I heard in the air that I should do my DNA. They didn't say that in that way. It was already when I was in Sweden, and I was on my way to travel to Israel, and I had a mission to do, but it was not clearly what I should do in Israel the whole time. It was only a small thing that I should travel to Israel. So I asked on Facebook, what can I do in Israel when I'm in Israel? What can I do there? And someone was sending me in some way. I don't know today how it was, but it was someone that I didn't know. It was no one that was my friends on Facebook, but in some way they could write me, and they told me that I should go to this museum, and the museum was that I needed to pay the ticket to come into the museum. I needed to do that in Sweden and buy it online. I couldn't buy that in the museum. And the museum was about the Second World War, where the Muslim, Christians and Jewish was together and built Palestine area together. They were friends in that time, and they have decided that those more like Arabic people should live in Palestine, and they helped them to do that. And then England hold Israel before 1948, and England they left Israel and let the Jewish and Arabic work together in Israel, because it was okay in that time. It was not like it is today, that they make war to each other. They were friends and built up it, and maybe today we can see it as a lie from the Arabic, that they got help to build houses. And now I have been to Palestine, and I see there is not much houses. It's trashed. But in one time, after the Second War, they were agreed to help to build up Palestine area, West Bank area, but it didn't stop there. And I'm not a political person, so I don't know what happened in that, how they could be enemies. I don't know, because I'm not a political person. but I was into this museum that was talking about how to help people. And it was about people that help Jewish people to run away from, to be killed of the Nazi people in the camps. And there were some heroes at the museum. And then it was this tree coming. And that tree was a sign of a family tree. And then it come in a three-dimensional, 3D. It's come, and we have these glasses on, so we could see it in 3D. And it come people that we didn't know first, and then it come people that was famous, like movie stars, singers, and they come, and we knew who they were. And then we had taken, they did picture on us when we come into the museum. And then suddenly my picture come in that tree. And I heard a voice saying to me, in one way or another, are we connected to each other? We say that they mean that we should love each other because we are all connected in one way or another. And when they say that, and I don't know if it was connected to that 3D tree we saw, or I got it inside my mind in that way. But I come to understand that I needed to do my DNA. And I had no thoughts about that. I thought a DNA to make a family tree should be so very boring, because I didn't have anyone. I was thinking, it's a little cottage somewhere in Scandinavia, a little in Norway, a little in Denmark, and a little in Finland, and then Sweden. I was thinking like that. That's not for me to do a family tree. But as I heard it in that museum in Jerusalem, I knew that I should do a DNA test. That was the message. So when I come back to Sweden, I did my DNA on Ireland. I was sending to Ireland and got it back, and I was thinking, as I heard it in Jerusalem, I didn't heard it in Sweden. I heard it in Jerusalem, in the real city, the spirit city. So I was thinking it must be something special with that, with my DNA. And I had the thinking that is something that have with Jesus to do. Why they want me to do my DNA. That I understood before I got my DNA result, that I have something with Jesus to do. And in that time I didn't believe in Jesus as God. He was one of many in the family tree uh, somewhere, that he had lived here on earth. But God have never lived here on earth and could be killed. But Jesus was killed, so he was not God for me. But I had that thinking that had something with Jesus to do. And then I got this result that surprised me. I'd be shocked when I saw it. I didn't know. I had no thought. I saw that my mother was very dark, had black hair and brown green eyes, but I was thinking, because up in the very north of Sweden there is people that have black hair and brown eyes, a little like more Asian style. So that had not kicked in. But when I saw the DNA, I saw it come from Israel. It was Jewish names in it, the DNA test, and then I become a member of the Mormon Church, because they could help me to do my DNA. So I become a member of them. I was not member because of believing in Jesus as God. I become member because I needed to do my DNA, as it was important. It was not important for me, it was not important for the church. It was important because God, heaven, have told me to do my DNA. I was not interested of it, but I obey what I heard and what I felt in Jerusalem, that I needed to do as fast, and it was that I have to do it as fast as I could do, because I knew that later on the DNA is going to be mixed of everything that take place, that it will be more and more people that want to take a DNA test. And then it's what was in the deepest of my DNA should be hidden of all those DNA match that come to be when people start to be interested. So I knew that I had to do it as soon as I could. And I did. I didn't have so much money left when I come back from Israel. But I was thinking I have to eat porridge, eating whatever I have in my home. I couldn't buy anything because I needed to buy a DNA test as soon as I could. So I did it and got this result. And when I look into this DNA result, I saw that it was many people that have the last name, surname of Walker. Their names was Walker. It was so very much of those people. I have at least 5 James Walker in my family tree, and then I have other Walkers, and I be, what? It was true what was in the night that this man come to me and he held this sign up that his name was James Walker. And I know today that this James Walker is something that have the key for something. He have the key, and that's why he holded the sign, because he wanted me to know his name. Those other spirits that have coming, they have not had really a name for me. But this spirit had a name, and I saw him how he looked like, and he looked like he was from 50s, 60s, something like that. And so now today I got hold on one that his name is Walker, and he is from Utah. So he is related to me, I know that. And those Walker, they come from England and Ireland. And I was so surprised and amazed over my DNA match. So and on my mother's side is it very much royals, but Jewish people also. And my father have also royals, but a little more far away. But my mother was really into the royals in Europe. And so I couldn't believe it. So I was sending one more DNA test, and this time was it to United States. And I got the result a second time, and it was the same. And the result was that the closest royal I have is the Tsar, the last Tsar of Russia, that was killed in 1918. He and his family all was killed. But of course they have relatives, family members that have already going away from Russia and married other royals in Europe. So one of the family member, not the children or their family, but a sister of the Tsar, and she married a Swedish royal. That's how they come here. Romanov married into the Swedish royal family, and it became one of my ancestors in my family tree, and now going to the King Charles of England, and Charles is the name. It's the same name as Carl. If you have that in your family tree, Charles is English, the English word name for the same as in Germany they say Karl. So that is very important to know these historic things, that the names, some it's spelled in the English way, but they maybe are from the beginning from Germany, and they spell different in Germany. So it's sometimes it's hard to find a person because they spell different in different countries. So this is what I wanted to tell you about. It's I don't really know the value of this to do my family tree, because it doesn't make anything about my life in the situation I am in the way I am. The only thing is that I know where I'm coming from. That is not only my 4 aunts that is connected with me. It's more than they. And I understand this, that one of my aunt, her daughter is married royal, and she wanted me to work in England, be on with the royal people in England, and taking care of their dogs and horses in the castle they had in England. But I was too shy for it, and I didn't have any parents that support me. They say to my aunt that she is too weak. She can do these things. She be lost in England like that. Negative talking. They didn't help me, or else maybe I have been married royals. But that make me to understand today that my aunt seems to have known that she was royal, coming from royal family, because she had owned a restaurant, and my mother needed to work. My mother owns cafes, and she had the best earning of money in the summertime. So she was sending me away to my aunt that have these restaurants in the summer, and she was going with a big boat, her own boat, a big boat, to an island, and where the royal family lived in the summer. They went out from Stockholm, the big city, and go to a big island where they lived. And my aunt, she took with me in the boat, and we go to that island, and she have food, and then she have silver plates with the food, and she had to wait for the royals to eat their food and clean up after the dinner, and bring it to the boat, and bring it back to the restaurant. And when she was doing this in the castle at the island, I was playing with the kids that was there. So I was playing with our king. I was playing with all those royals that belonged to the king's family. And they were older, the princess, than me, but our king, he was very childish, so he wanted to play, and he is a real sport person. So I understand that he wanted to run around and we playing Indians and cowboys, and he liked to be cowboys, and we should run after him, and then take him to a tree and hold ropes around him and hold him in the trees, and then running around and, yeah, we have taken the Indians. And that was our king that we have today. So my aunt, she must have known that we belong to the royals, and maybe those other people also. And one of my aunt that was very, very, very rich. She had many restaurants, and she wanted to. She had a husband that was a manager for a big factory, and he had done his family tree, and he had royals, and my aunt wanted to do a family tree. She paid for that, for the archive of those people that have been born in Sweden. They have that in the archive, and she paid them to do it. And she'd be so disappointed because she didn't have any royals in her family tree. But that was made from books. It was not made of DNA. It was in the 80s, so we didn't have DNA. It was books, and I have talked about this before, but what we have was showing that we have Bonde, is the name Bonde, and that is our king's best friend. Friends, they have the name Bonde, but what my aunt and those that did this family tree was thinking was that Bonde in Swedish, that means farmer. So they thought these people was farmer, and they were in some way because they have castles and take care of that like a farmer. But it was their surname and last name, and that is a royal names, and they couldn't do so much research because it was in books. And today with the DNA, I see that there is some people that is born that was born and their father was kings and prince, but they didn't write them up in the book as children of the kings. Instead, they got another name. The father, they have a second name of themselves to hide in the books, but the DNA show the truth, and it's sad that my mother and her sisters never come to know that it was royals connected those names, and it was sure name that was simple sure names that Lind, for example, and that was belonged to the royals. But for me also, before I knew that DNAs, was it? I know this Lind because she was in United States, and was a very famous opera singer, but I didn't know it was a royal name, that also. Uh, so the DNA is showing everything. The lie become to be known. The secrets they had been together with royals, it come to be known in the DNA. And that's why, like in Israel, they don't want to know DNA. There is some churches. The Mormon church doesn't want to know the DNA. They only want 4 generations. They don't want to go far back. They only want to go to Joseph Smith time, that generation, and not look back, because Joseph Smith he is connected to me, and they come from Ireland and England, and they were royals. They had the money to could start the church. How could they start the churches around in United States and in other countries also without any money? They had money, but they wanted to be like a saga, like a fairy tale, that they were poor and then they could build all those churches all over the world. They wanted to see it look like a fairy tale, a real fairy tale that come true. But the DNA showing the truth, that it was a lie, because they wanted people to see it as they were poor and strive and walking to those places. But it is a lie. So I ask inside my brain if it's okay to end now, or is it something the spirit that is around here want to say something. And they are saying that they have talking. When I talk, they were talking. It was not me talking to you. That's what they saying. It was they that was talking to you with my mouth. They say that. I don't know. There is some men holding, they have the hats, caps in their hand, and they standing like they say thank you to talking to you from them. They are like that. They have the bow they had down, and then hold the hat in their hand. They have taken off that, like they greet and thank me for talking about this. They're saying that they wanted to talk the truth. They say that they wanted to talk the truth, but it was so much hard powerful people around them that make them could not telling the truth. Here is someone saying, but the truth will one day be revealed. He's saying, and it's coming from you, revealing. And I see that we have got more listeners to this podcast. We have got more listeners, so this it started growing. This podcast, it will come. The truth will set us free. So you should know that it's nothing to be worried about. The truth must come. The truth must be held and not be hidden and be in secrets. And they say that is your own testimony. They say that in the church, the Mormon church I am in, and they say you can't talk to people about your experience of God and heaven. They say that is your own testimony, and you should not tell other people about what you see and hear. That's what they have told me. But the truth have to be said. I can't hold in the truth because I'm working for God. How should God take it if I not should tell you what's going on? So I do it, and it doesn't matter for me that the devil can't stop me, because that means God have allowed it, and God want to call me home, and it's in God's will, not in the devil's will, to kill me. So in that way it's a success, because I longing for to come to heaven, but I can't make a suicide. I have to wait until God call me home. So if it's someone that want to kill me, and he or she can kill me, that is a success for me to come to heaven. So for the devil is it no success at all. So that's that he doesn't or she doesn't get. They can't kill me. They can hurt me very much, but they can't kill me. That's the last will is God's will. So thank you for listening, and God bless you.